We are live now.
Okay.
Okay, so normally what I do is we just use like 5 minutes to share the link. So the link I sent to you, you can share that.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, I don't know, but you switching to like Facebook to copy it will be so you can just leave the sharing for me. But if there's anything you want to share, you can share the link I sent you.
No problem. Noted.
Yeah, guys, so we are live. If you are here, you want to start connecting and sharing the link. Kote, I see you. Thank you very much for your support every time. I see you join this session. I pray this year you'll find what you're looking for. So yeah, let's share the link. You want to share the link so that other people can get access to today's section. Today's section is one of a kind because we don't normally um, get people coming from the cons or the finance background or MBA to come and share their experience. At least today we have someone here who has a background in these three areas that I mentioned. So she's going to let us know how she went about with her study abroad journey, how she applied, how she got the fully funded offer. Like I said, if you are in MBA, finance, and cons, sometimes or most of the times it's not really easy for you to come by with funding, but our beautiful sister here was able to do that, and she was able to secure some good funding here in the United States. So you want to stay connected, you want to share the link so that other people can join and um, ask whatever thing that is bothering them. uh, so give us some 5 minutes to share so that people can get access.
That's
Yeah, so Whitney, let's start something. Like I was saying, you're going to be the last person for the online one-on-one because I'm going to be on a hiatus for a while. So I'll be resuming after 15th of April. So you are very fortunate.
oh, it's an honor.
Yeah, so let's just go straight into it as people keep joining. I can see 13 people have joined live on Facebook and it will keep counting like that. But let's start. Just give us a brief introduction about you, where you are from, and also let's just take us to Ghana. So just give us where you are from, the school you attended, and yeah, just a brief introduction about you.
Okay. Hi, viewers. My name is Sarah Whitney Akusika Lagle from Ghana. I attended the University of Ghana Business School for both my diploma and bachelor's, which I both majored in public administration. I attended Achimota School. That was like my secondary school. And funny enough, I did science in Achimota, but when I got to the university, I decided to switch to public administration because sometimes, careers or wishes divert at some point in time due to personal reasons. So yeah, and I'm 23 years of age, currently pursuing a Master of Public Administration here in the US. And I'm pleased to meet you guys.
Yeah, thank you. That was very short but very detailed as well. Yeah, so you said you went to Achimota, and in Achimota, fellow Motown, I don't know how you call you.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you went
honest.
to Achimota, you did science, and from Achimota, you went to Legon, right?
Yes, please.
University of Ghana. But when you were going to University of Ghana, you changed focus from science to public administration. I'm just retreating what you said, the fact that careers do change and aspirations do change. What motivated you to do the switch?
Okay, so growing up, I've always had the love for reading, and I would say in junior high school, I was an all-round student, being good at both math, science, and English courses alike. And I think I did not have a very solid orientation as to whatever program I would do in secondary school. So since I was an all-round student, I felt I could pursue the science in secondary school. You know how there was this notion that if you were good in junior high school, you could do the most difficult courses. So that was how I ended up pursuing general science in Achimota. But I realized I did not really have much, passion for it as compared to the reading courses. With the reading courses, I was like better at them as compared to the calculation courses. And that was how I ended up diverting to public administration. And I would say me diverting to public administration was really helpful because this time around I was actually pursuing a program which I enjoyed so much due to my love for reading and being able to grasp the theories and scholars and all that. Like I realized I had more love and passion for that aspect as compared to the general science aspects. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for clarifying that. I brought that up because there are a lot of students in school who are pursuing certain courses, at the detriment of their own, it is students are pursuing courses that they didn't like or they didn't choose. They are pursuing certain courses because their dad or their mom wanted them to pursue such courses. As you grow, you realize that you can't deceive yourself. You always have to go. I always tell people this, when I came to the United States, I see people doing the IT, the, sciences, and I'm like, I want to do this. But when I check my background, I realize I didn't like math like that. The foundation and the basis for math, I didn't like. So right from SS to the university, I went to do media studies, communication, journalism stuff because I realized, oh, okay, if I don't like math, then the opposite of this is to just go and do some readings. And that is what brought me here. But today I'm here. I look at how the economy is going, how society is going, and I realize that, if you don't diversify yourself and if you don't position yourself well in a society, maybe you might not be getting those six figures in future. So I always tell myself, okay, if I want to go into IT or STEM, there are courses there that you can do that are not technical.
Yeah.
There are courses that you can do. There are cybersecurity courses that are not technical. It's all about reading, There are project management courses that are not technical. There are some courses there in project management where it's about the reading. And these programs are STEM programs. You get a point. And even with the communication background that I have, nowadays you go into big companies and they employ communication experts, because when they come with those sophisticated theories and all of that, they need someone who can break it down to certain elements for the people in the company to understand. So it's all about positioning, it's all about passion, it's all about diversifying and studying how a particular economy works. Then you adapt to that kind of ecosystem. Yeah, thank you very much. That was just by the way.
Oh, what you're saying is very true because I realized in first year of my diploma, when I was given accounting related stuff, I did accounting 1 and 2 in first year, and surprisingly, I was very good at it. Having no background in accounting in secondary school, I was scared at first, but I realized that I was able to thrive and do very well in accounting. And accounting is also a calculation based course, despite the fact that I mentioned earlier that I wasn't really comfortable with calculation related stuff. I was still able to, excel in my accounting courses. So you are right about speaking about the fact that it's good to diversify. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to diversify. Thank you very much for emphasizing on that. I really appreciate. Guys, I can see 32 people are watching on Facebook. I'm also streaming live on YouTube, and you want to do as the Anna to share this link. Just as how you've been sharing Alpha R and Hallelujah Challenge. I want you to share this link as well. I've been saying this. You don't want to benefit from this journey alone. Join heads together, like with like-minded people. You want to join people who have the same agenda, who have the same kind of focus, so that anytime you need any help, you can be reaching out to each other. So please share the link, so let's get a lot of people on this feed. I know it's going to be recorded, but recently I got a message from Facebook that all my live videos that have past 30 days are going to be deleted automatically.
Oh.
I think they are running out of space. I don't know. So please, you want to share this so that people can join this, that because you might not get it to watch it again after 30 days. So please, let's do that, and please share the link. Yeah, let's go on to my second question. You mentioned, you said diploma. Why going to University of Ghana and why diploma? I don't get the distinction. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay. So with the diploma, over here in the United States, it's what we call an associate's degree.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a 2-year program in the university. So you can, pursue a program for 2 years and then get a diploma certificate or an associate's degree certificate. And one thing I realized was that with the diploma, it was quite practical as compared to the bachelor's, which was why I delved into the diploma first. So I did the diploma in public administration for 2 years, did my national service for 1 year, and then did a top up for 2 extra years, and then ended up having 2 certificates in public administration. So I have a diploma in public administration and then a Bachelor of Science in public administration as well.
If someone is watching, you went further to do a top up in order to get a degree. But if someone is watching and the person wants to take the path that you went on, the fact that the person wants to do a diploma and get 2 years, because you did 2 years, you got the certificate and you did your national service, would that person be able to use just that diploma to apply for schools to study abroad?
So what I would advise is that if the person has the diploma certificate, I would advise that the person pursues the top up in order to have a bachelor's, because when it comes to mostly funded courses or courses that are more likely to be funded here in the States, I realized that postgraduate courses are more, likely to be funded, fully funded, as compared to undergraduate courses. So I would advise anyone who is embarking on the same path I took to just do the top up in Ghana, pursue his or her bachelor's, and then use the bachelor's and both diploma and bachelor's to apply for a postgraduate program here.
Wow, thank you very much for that clarification. I really love that. Yeah, so let's go to our next question. So you did your 2 years, you got your diploma, you did your national. Can you tell us where you did your national service? Was where you did your national service anywhere related to the course you pursued in school?
Yes. Where I did my national service was extremely related to the course I did, because I actually did my national service in the Department of Public Administration, University of Ghana Business School. So yes, I basically did my national service in my department. And I would say that my choice to study, postgraduate or further my postgraduate studies in this field was highly influenced by my time spent during my national service at the department, because during my time over there, I got to, learn a lot from a lot of my faculty, my lecturers, and realize that, well, lecturing or researching is something that I would love to go into, or I would have the passion for. So in that sense, after the bachelor's, I don't just have to sit around and, just wait around. I'd have to pursue further studies, I would have to pursue a postgraduate. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So would you also advise would you would you advise current potential students who are in school who are having the desire to study abroad, would you advise them to take their national service or to do their national service in school, or what are you going to say about that? Because I know I'm asking you this question because when I was in Ghana, I knew people who specifically went to serve as teaching assistants because they had the passion to study abroad. They knew, oh, once I'm a teaching assistant, getting recommendation letters from my professors becomes easier as compared to me leaving the school, and it worked pretty well for most of my friends, but it wasn't always the case. I knew people who did their service there, but they still struggled to study abroad. What can you say about that?
So one thing I can say is that with regards to working on campus or working in academia for your national service, that should be a personal choice. It shouldn't be influenced by your choice or future, aspiration to come and study abroad, because you can equally pursue your national service elsewhere in an organization or institution outside campus and equally get the recommendation letters you need, or equally get whatever materials or documents you need. So what I would say is to easen up your study abroad journey once you complete school, please try and be active in class. Do not just be passive when it comes to class discussions and stuff, because we tend to see the cases where a lot of students are passive in class back in Ghana. Even when it comes to presentations, some people choose to hide behind their group members and not talk much, or not even dress properly and all that. And I would advise against those things. Take advantage of the time you have in school during your undergrad or whatever the case may be, to be active in class. When you have questions about anything, please ask. If you have answers to any questions the lecturer asks, please, answer them. I mean, make them know you, and, just be active in whatever decisions you're making. All these things eventually ease up the process of you being able to gain those recommendations and stuff from your professors.
Aku, you make a very momentous argument that students should be active and not passive when they are in school. I
Yes.
always tell people this, it's all about planning. I did my national service with the national security. It has got nothing to do with study abroad, with the processes and all of that. But because I was proactive and because I had built rapport with certain professors, I just told them in advance that, in August, September, Professor A, and please, I'll be applying to schools and I really need you to be my recommender. The funny thing is, when by the end of September, I had applied to almost 10 schools because these people already knew and they were willing to, recommend me. So please be proactive. If you are in school now, you are watching. That's why I tell people to keep on sharing this. You have to share to that sister of yours or that relative of yours who is still in school. You have to be intentional and deliberate. Some of us, we didn't know. If we had known how these processes works and all of that, would have been very intentional how we went about certain things. You get the point. So please share this. Let your friends, your relatives who want to also study abroad be aware that it comes with planning. Start now. Even if you are in school, you are in your first year undergraduate, this is the time for you to start putting in the work so that when you get to your final year, I have friends who came here whilst they were doing their national service.
Yeah.
They didn't even finish their national service, they were here. Why? Because they planned everything when they were in school, and it just turned out to be very great for them. Thank you very much, Aku, for bringing that up. And okay, so you did your national service in school. You did it in the Department of Public Administration, very connected to the things you were doing. At what point did you decide that I want to study abroad? Because I know there is a master's program in public administration at the University of Ghana. Why didn't you choose University of Ghana? Why the desire to study abroad, and what motivated you?
Okay, then thank you for the question. It's very true that the University of Ghana Business School has a very strong Master of Public Administration program, which is highly resourceful, highly informative. But one thing I realized, or one of the motivations, primary motivations for me coming to pursue it abroad instead, is that with the specialization in public administration that I would want to go into, I realized that the University of Ghana Business School master's program does not have that specialization yet. They are yet to introduce that specialization into the program, which is in civil society organizations. And then I realized that they wanting to bring such an introduction or such a specialization into the Master of Public Administration program would be beneficial to me, in the sense that if I come abroad to gain the knowledge, to gain the expertise in this field, I can actually be, a unique entity in that field if I am to go back to Ghana to teach, you know, in the university someday, because this is a newly designed field. This is a newly designed specialization in the Master of Public Administration program where we do not have a lot of expertise yet. So that was one of my primary motivations for coming here to study the Master of Public Admin instead.
You see how you explain this, there was no way you were not going to get your visa. And if you recall, I had opportunity to have 1 or 2 sessions with you before you went for your visa. Sometimes I tell people this. Sometimes when we hear how you are articulating the ideas, the flow of thought, how you've personalized stuff, behind we'll just be laughing, because sometimes we can see you are stressing. You are going to get a visa approved, but sometimes it's just good not to tell you so that you don't become too complacent about whatever thing that is going to happen. But this is a genuine way of going to get your visa. If you go and you tell the VO that, if the VO asks you, why didn't you do your master's in Ghana, or why the US, why the school? This is a very perfect, you've identified a gap. And not only did you identify the gap, you're also showing them how you are going to fill the gap. You mentioned something about civil society organization. Are you talking about NGOs? Because I do that a lot, and I know can you tell us a bit more about that?
Okay, so civil society organizations is kind of a broader definition when it comes to third sector groups or advocacy groups that push for government initiatives in the interests of citizens. They act as the voice of citizens when it comes to pressing issues or societal issues. They act as the forefront or as the voice of the people. So civil society organizations is a broader umbrella definitions under which non-governmental organizations, community-based organizations, and other organizations fall under. So my interest is more in the broader sector with civil society organizations. And then civil society organizations primarily perform 2 categories of functions. We have civil society organizations that are interested in watchdog roles, where they push for transparency and accountability when it comes to government initiatives. And then we have the other category of civil society organizations where they primarily perform service functions, such as in education, healthcare, providing, affordable quality of water, and, mainly service provision in general. So that's what civil society organizations entail.
Osani, my dear. This well said, honestly, because that is what I'm doing my project. I do project in civil sector society, and what I also look at is how the civil society in the global south partner with their international partners. And I look at issues of authority, agency, dialectics, tensions, and how all these make sense, especially with a communicative lens.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned it, I just said, let me let you talk about it a bit, because that is something I've been doing for the past 2 years, and it's really, really, really interesting. So, I'm very glad that you brought that up. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, let me go to my next set of questions. So, you got motivated to apply to schools when you were in, was it when you were doing the top up or when you were doing your national service?
I would say when I was doing my national service, because I did my national service right after pursuing my diploma for 2 years. So as at the diploma level, although I wanted to go into public administration, I was really unsure of what to do in the future. At that time I was still young and I did not really know what job, field I would have wanted to go into. It was just like a general thinking, oh, after university, I'll just go find an office to work in, that basic mindset. But when I got to do my national service in the department, I would say that period really opened my eyes or opened my mind to a lot of things. I realized that there is much more that the program entails apart from just mere administrative work. So I realized that there's research, there's advocacy, there's lecturing, I mean, academia. And then I realized that, wow, I would have the passion for academia. And then that's where the motivation stemmed from.
Wow, this is very, very brilliant. Sometimes I tell people this. Someone is in Ghana, they have first class. They are not privy to some of these like things that we are talking about. And Fred Effect will say this. Some people, if they get opportunity to come study here, they might even perform better than some of us. But people don't have access to the right information. So it's good we have some of these sessions so that people like Aku can come and share their experience and their motivations to motivate young girls as well. Because sometimes you are in a situation where you are not able to figure things out. But before we finish today, she's going to motivate you and let you know what you can do if you are still. She's not figured it all out yet, but I believe she's in a position to at least offer some tips and some advice for potential undergraduate and graduate students. Thank you very much. Aku, let me go to my next question. So my next question is after you decided that okay, this is the gap. This is something I've realized I can do in the United States. How did you go about the preparation, the section of the schools? How did you go about it?
Okay, thank you for the insightful question. So right when I was in final year, which was level 400, I started speaking to some of my mentors, which are some of the lecturers in my department, on potential schools that I could apply to, or schools that had very strong postgraduate public administration programs. I started doing my research and all that. And then I came up with my top three schools, which were New York University, University of Virginia, and um, Auburn University, where I currently am. So my supervisor for my undergraduate thesis, Dr. Daniel Apia, was the one who advised me that Auburn University had a very strong Master of Public Administration program, and encouraged me to look into it. And so I did my research, and then I looked at the necessary documents I needed to gather here and there, got the right documentation, right recommendations, prepared myself, and then applied to the three schools, and I ended up coming to Auburn University.
And I ended up coming to Urban University. Thank you very much for that. And Professor Daniel Apia, wherever you are, God bless you for showing our sister the way. Because you need someone to guide you. You need someone to tell you that, oh, this school has this good specialization. Why not consider? The funny thing is, the school I'm in right now, it was a friend who told me, Evans, this school, they are giving free application waivers. Let's apply. And to God be the glory, I'm in that school. I didn't pay for any application fees. My funding is fully catered for. That is why I keep telling you, share the link. That is why I keep telling you that tell someone to tell someone about these things that we are doing. We are not charging. Aku didn't charge me. I've not charged her. As busy as we are, we just decided to give some aspect of our time to our audience so that you people also benefit, so that we'll show you the way, so that you can also be where you want to be in future in terms of, furthering your education and becoming the best part of you. Yeah, thank you very much. And you raise a very good point. So you applied to three schools, New York, Virginia, Urban University. How many of these schools did you get admission and funding? Which of them rejected you?
Okay, so I did not get rejected by any. I got accepted into all three schools, and then I got funding in all three schools. But the only thing was that with New York University and University of Virginia, the funding was partial. And then Auburn gave me full funding plus a graduate assistantship, and which is why I came here.
Okay. And with your specialization, sometimes I find it hard to recommend schools to people. You know, Can you tell us a bit distinction about, I don't know if you have an idea about it. Finance, we have they have one they call economics or whatever. Finance, MBA, public admission. How do they overlap?
Okay, so I would say that these fields or specializations fall under the broader ideology of social sciences or business school. So we all know that when it comes to the physical sciences or the hard sciences, they have to do with the engineering, medicine, and the likes, the hard sciences where there are lots of calculations involved, formulas, and all that. But when it comes to the social sciences, this is where we find like the practical field, like public administration, business administration, and the like. This is where we deal more with, the interaction of human behavior. What are the reasons behind human behavior? What motivates human behavior? Why does society act this way? What are the things that are defining social constructs and stuff? So I would say that is how like they are interconnected. Yeah.
And the public administration, does it fall under STEM or non-STEM in your school?
Public administration is non-STEM. We are under College of Liberal Arts, Department
Okay.
of Political Science. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that distinction. And I know for some schools, if you want to go into public administration, you have to write a GRE. So GRE here, I'm talking about the test course. Did you write any of that?
No, please, I did not write the GRE to any of the schools I applied to because they were actually waived for the Master of Public Administration program, and so I did not need to write them.
Do you think someone in Ghana who is so fixated on the fact that if I don't write it, I might not get admitted or funding, what advice can you give to those people?
Okay, so with the choice of taking the GRE or writing the GRE, it definitely boosts your chances when it comes to the application cycle. What I would say is that if you feel like the schools or the category of schools you want to go to require you to take the GRE, then you should write it. And besides, writing it does not harm you in any way. Even if the school waives it off and you still submit it, it still gives you an upper advantage over others. So if you feel like you would be comfortable, studying for the GRE and writing it, that is absolutely fine. And with me, I chose not to because it was waived for the programs that I was going to apply to, which is why I did not write it. But if the schools you want to require it, please write it. Yeah.
If the school you want is requesting for it, please write it. If you don't have the money to also write, then search for schools that are waiving the GRE. Thank you very much. Did you pay for application fees for the 3 schools?
So I did not pay for application fees for the first 2 schools, which were New York University and University of Virginia. But I did pay application fee for Auburn University, which was the cost of $85.
Why is it advisable to pay for application fees?
Okay. So sometimes I realize that sometimes with the programs where there are fee waivers and all that, I mean, there are cases where they are advantageous. There's a fee waiver and then you can still get your full funding. But there are other cases where I realize some of the programs with fee waivers have a harder chance of getting full scholarship or full funding. I don't know the logic behind this, but it's just something I noticed. Because if you look at my personal situation, for instance, the school that I paid application fee for ended up giving me a full scholarship with assistantship as compared to the ones that I had a fee waiver for. So I don't know the logic behind fee waivers and funding in the long run, but I think it works for some and it does not work for others. For example, you Evans, it worked for you. You had a fee waiver, but you still got full funding. Yes, so
Thank you very much for such articulations. And I intentionally asked you that because people want free things. Everyone, when people see free food, free food. Nowadays, people even go to funerals in Ghana just because of the funeral jollof. I'm telling you. So whenever there's free food, you see a lot of people jumping and moving over it to, benefit from it. So imagine Virginia is giving free funding. about 500 students will apply just to your department. So you are competing with 500 students. Meanwhile, they want just 10 students for that particular cohort or for that particular year. But let's say a school like University of Colorado Boulder says, I'm not giving any free application, pay. People don't want to pay. So because of that, it limits the chances of, like it limits the number of people that are going to apply, because I didn't want to pay $85 at that time was a lot of money. You get the point. So someone might opt out of that option and go for the free. So you that you paid to your department, instead of 500 people, maybe just 20 people who applied, and they are looking for 10. So your chances of getting admission and funding in that department becomes very high. So please, guys, you can take whatever thing you want from what I just shared, because I wouldn't go straight to the point, but then I've told you something that you can resonate with. Thank you very much for such insight. I really appreciate. Now let's go into this. You got fully funded from Urban University. You reached out to me. You wanted to go through the process and all of that. Can you tell us how that experience was like when you went to the portal? Are there certain mistakes you did? How was that experience like?
Wow. So that experience was quite interesting because I mean, you got to experience some aspects of it. So when I got admission and then I was, I also received the funding letter. The next step to take was the visa application process, which was also another tough step, because you can get a school, you can get full funding, but then the visa, you can be denied. And I had already heard about how competitive it was to get a US visa at the embassy. And so I was quite, gingered to strive to do my best and everything. So, quite interestingly, I found Ivan's platform on TikTok because my algorithm was
Please say that
trained.
again. Say that again.
So, quite interestingly, I found Ivan's platform on TikTok
Mm.
because, as at that time, my algorithms on all my social media platforms were trained specifically to look for content in relation to visa interview stuff, because I was doing my research. I was trying to find videos. I was trying to find, documentaries, sample mock sessions, anything. I mean, anything I could lay my hands on in order to prepare for my US visa interview. And so TikTok suggested Ivan's platform to me and then I hit him up. I sent him a DM and then asked if he could coach me, if he could help me prepare for my visa interview. And then he gladly accepted. And so he added me to his visa mock session, coaching group on WhatsApp. And trust me when I say this, guys, every single day we used to practice. Every single day we
The lady, she was
practiced.
disturbing me. 2 a.m. Mountain time, 2 a.m. Colorado Mountain time. This lady will be calling me.
We practiced for, I'm telling you that, like, I practiced for this visa interview as if it were a final exam. I'm very serious. We practiced every single day, even on Saturdays and Sundays.
Did I charge you for any money?
No, please, you didn't.
Thank you very much.
You didn't. So I would say the mock interview sessions were very helpful, extremely helpful. See, when you guys get your admissions and your funding and whatnot, please join mock sessions. They are very, very, very helpful. They are extremely helpful. It's not just about watching YouTube videos or TikTok videos or, just listening to hearsay. I would say the mock interview sessions are really helpful because there were some things I did not know prior to joining his mock interview sessions that I got to, learn from once I got to join. There were certain mistakes in answering visa interview questions that I would have made if I had not joined the mock interview sessions. So they are really helpful.
Thank you very much for the shout out, because it's always good to get people saying good things, because that's what is going to drag a lot of people to believe in whatever thing that we are doing. I always take advantage of this. We all took advantage of the Fred Effects videos. We took advantage of Kingsford Onyina, and God being so good, I'm in contact with all these people. We are here to, even today, Fred had a live session showing you the way. Take advantage of all these platforms, all these opportunity. So if you are watching, I want to use this opportunity to also inform you that if you're a prospective student and you've gotten admission, you've gotten your eligibility requirement, that is the I-20, you are looking forward to someone who can prep you, someone who can guide you for you to be able to go for your visa interview and ace it. Please send proof of your admissions letter or your admissions offer to my email, evansasantis711@gmail.com. And I'll add you to my Visa Mock Session 2025 page. I create a page every year for students who are coming so that we just do it. And nowadays we meet like 4 or 3 times in a week. Come and practice and be perfect before you go for the interview. I know someone who got a fully funded scholarship, went for his interview and got denied because they lack confidence. They didn't know what to say at a point. They went there fidgeting and, fumbling and all of that, and they got rejected and denied. You don't want that to be the case for you. So please reach out to me and let me see how I can also help you. But that's also not to say that if you want one-on-one with me, that one you have to pay something small for because. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you
but they
very
are
much.
really helpful
Yeah.
because I would like to add that not only do these sessions help you when it comes to like the practical aspects of answering the visa questions, but it also guides you on how to properly fill your visa forms, your DS 160. See, guys, trust me, the content or whatever goes into your DS 160 is very important, extremely important. I would say whatever goes into your DS 160 is also, a major percentage, or also, adds up to a major percentage of how much approval or how much denial you're going to get. Because some people, do not have experience with the filling of the DS 160. They give it to agents where they do not, keep in personal contact with, in order to find out what exactly or what details are going into their forms. Please, if you have it in mind to contract out your DS 160 filling to an agent without knowing personally whatever he or she is putting into your forms, I would advise against that. At least if you'd contract it out, be there, have access to your forms, and before the forms are submitted, know whatever goes into the forms, because it's very important. Sometimes you can fill something in the form, go for the interview and say something that is contradictory to what is in the form, because mind you, as the visa officer is interviewing you, he or she is looking at your DS 160 form simultaneously to see if there are any contradictions, or if you are going to, contradict yourself in any way. And once you do that, it gives room for denial. So please, these sessions also help you, on how to properly fill your DS 160 forms, which is very important.
Thank you very much. You made a very good, you bring a very good insight on board that people should be able to learn from. You always have to pay attention to your DS 160. Your DS 160 is basically everything about you. So if your mother's name is Esther Champon and you go and write Esther Ejapoma, those are two different, that alone can get your visa denied. So please pay attention to it. Those days when I filled my DS 160, I could have submitted it in March, but I waited and submitted it 1 week before my visa interview because I was every day going through to make sure the details and the things that I've put in there is accurate. So please don't do this like anyhow because someone is doing it, you also want to do it. It's just like one time someone sent me her SOP to go through for her, and she had already given the SOP to someone, and the person had made certain corrections. And this was the SOP the lady was about to submit to the school. And I'm like, how do you give your SOP to someone? The person makes the corrections, suggesting editing and all of that, WPS or Word, is there. You can see the comment from the editor. And the lady, she actually submitted the same thing to the. I'm like, no, please, if you do some of these things, it's like you are not being honest to yourself. And if a school rejects you, you can't have anything to say that, oh, they didn't even take time. the fault was actually coming from you. It starts right from the very time that you decide to apply to study abroad. You have to be very meticulous in all the things that you'll be doing. Because if you don't take time, a little mistake somewhere can just get your visa denied. It's just like someone, he went to the visa interview and they asked him, I can see this you filled for F2. He said, no, it's F1, F2, F1, F2, F1. Then the visa officer said, sorry, I can't approve your visa. Instead of choosing F1, the person went for F2. F2 is dependent. Why are you choosing dependent if you are coming in as a single? So please, let's be very careful about that. Thank you very much, Aku, for such insight. Let's now come back to after you were done with everything, you joined Ivaga's mock prepping sessions. And I remember that the day I told you were going to get that visa, but it seems you were scared, which is normal because it's your first time going to the embassy. I was staying at Osu, so I went to the place to see how the place was like before my actual. So even my interview, I walked to the place because from Osu to the embassy is just a distance away.
Yes, also
So
to cantonments, like it's
yeah,
very,
very
very close.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just walked to the place and the tension, you're still going to feel the tension one way or the other. Tell us the experience. When you went there, how was the experience like? And please take us to the room where you got interviewed and what you think made you get your visa approved.
Okay. So after preparing myself, joining mock sessions and preparing for the visa interview and stuff, I was confident that I was prepared, but I was still nervous. I was still shaking because this was my first time ever going to the US embassy. In fact, this was my first time ever traveling out of Ghana. Prior to coming to study here, I had never flown out of Ghana before. So I was quite nervous, but I spoke to Ivagas and he assured me that he knows I would get the visa based on the preparation levels we had been doing and the way I used to answer questions and all that. He assured me that things would be fine and so I shouldn't be scared. And so I gathered courage, went to the embassy. When I at the time I went, I went very early because I actually stayed at Tema when I was in Ghana. So I did not want the motorway traffic to delay my time. Yes, I wanted to be as early as possible, for my visa interview. And so when I got there, I could see like the police officers around and people were, forming queues and stuff. Their documents were being checked and all, but it was not my appointment time yet. So I was just hanging around, just trying to ease myself, just hanging around and familiarizing myself with the environment since I was few hours earlier. And I was also like, trying to recollect whatever preparations I had done in my head. I spoke to the police officers there. They were really nice to me. They were just saying that wishing me all the best and that I should not worry and all that. And funny enough, that day it's rained. So we were waiting outside. I mean,
While it was raining.
yes, I mean,
This
we
this issue will not talk about it here today because there's a lot of things going on there with that
with
with that
that.
kind of situation. Yeah.
Okay. So I was outside with those in my batch. We're outside waiting, preparing for the visa interviews. Some were, prepping with their friends, asking them questions and all that. Some were also as quiet as because they did not want to feel nervous or anything, just wanted to keep to themselves. But I mean it was cool. And to be honest, when I got to the embassy, right? It was less scary than I thought because prior to going for the interview, I thought the embassy would be some, extremely scary place that once you enter, you'd feel intimidated, but that was not the case. I felt more relaxed once I got to the embassy because I realized that, oh, it was not as scary as people made it out to be. So I I was just relaxing, trying to recollect whatever I had learned in my head. And then the time came for us to start forming our queues. So, one thing, please, when you get to the embassy, if you do not want to feel tensed, make sure all your documents are intact. Please make sure all your documents are intact because if you miss anything, they are going to turn you back to go and print whatever documents that you are missing out and come back. And all those things end up building tension, which you end up taking in front of the visa officer because mind you, on the day of your visa interview, you should be as relaxed as possible. One mistake that visa applicants make, or one mistake that they commit, is building tension up. Please be as relaxed as possible. And one way that you can be as relaxed as possible is if all your documents are intact, if you are on time, if you follow instructions. These are some of the ways that you can reduce tension on yourself. So we started forming the queues. The security guys started checking our documents to see if everything was intact. There was also a table in front where they were checking our documents, taking our the confirmation pages of our DS-160. So they would take it, look at it, and cancel it out, like just to show that they had seen the confirmation page of the DS-160. And then we got to the outer part of the embassy. So we got inside. They allowed us through the gates, but we were made to sit on some plastic chairs on the corridor. We were a lot. And at that point, I could see some people were tensed, and some were also trying to be relaxed. But I mean, that place was very quiet. Everyone was just looking on their documents. I remember that day I was just looking at my documents. And at that time the rain had started, pouring. So it was shining at that time. And they kept calling in batches. Yeah, they kept calling in batches. So there would be like this rule, follow me. When once they were done with their interview, the next row, and it was just like that. So I was part of the first row of people to be called inside, and then we got inside the embassy. When we got inside the embassy, they were checking our other documents. Now you see what I was talking about the documents being intact. I realized that if you had any documents missing, or if your documents were not arranged in the order in which they told you to arrange it, they would tell you to go behind the line and let another person come, and all these things would end up making you feel tensed up and all that. So please try as much as possible to get your documents intact. Once whichever official in the embassy says arrange it in this manner, if they say service fee receipt first, DS-160, this thing, this, that, in this manner, please arrange it in that exact order. Do not miss the arrangement, because they would check in that order. And that place, they are very efficient with their time. They don't waste time when it comes to checking documents. So you have to be ready at all times. So they checked our documents, and then we were made to file. So this last aspect, this last file, were the files leading to the visa offices. So you could see there were about 4 booths. I remember there being about 4 booths. So you'd see 4 people, 4 applicants standing in front of the 4 booths, and then once they were done, the next would go. And it was very fast. That, which is why I say you have to be very, 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 ready and prepared, because when you get into the embassy, there's no time for being slow with whatever. You have to be very fast, very fast. Make sure everything is intact. They check your documents, scan this and that and that. So we got to the last file, which was leading to the visa offices, right? And I was standing in the file, and everything was going. Now, the security guards are the ones who determine which visa officer you go to. You do not choose which visa officer you want to interview you. So if you've heard about a visa officer who is known for approving a lot of visas and stuff, trust me, when I went, I had no control over who I could go to. The security men were the ones who
Some people said they have control. They will intentionally say they are going to use the washroom so that when they come, they will come in. But
That
what
was what
if
I
you join
thought.
and you still go to the same person?
Yes, I mean, there are some people who use the washroom tactic as an excuse and ended up going to the same visa officer. And so I would say that just prepare and be relaxed. Like, no matter who you go to, just prepare and be relaxed. Because once they sense you are tense, and mind you, one key thing you should know about the visa interview process is that you have to maintain eye contact at all times. You have to maintain eye contact.
Please repeat. I have a video on that too. Please repeat that too.
Please maintain eye contact with the visa officer. Do not keep your eyes off the visa officer. Maintain eye contact. That is how they know whatever you're saying is genuine. That is how they know you are confident in whatever information you are giving them. That's how they know that, oh, your intentions are real. they are pure for coming into the US. You have to maintain eye contact with the visa officer. So please do not feel tense and scared, because I realized that if you feel tense and scared, it actually makes you try to, shift your gaze away from the visa officer, and that is a red flag. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be confident in your speech, look into the visa officer's eye, and speak confidently. So, as I was saying, I had no power or no influence over which visa officer I could go to. So I ended up being interviewed by an Asian visa officer. Based on like the interview groups and stuff I had joined, people were like, that was like the scariest officer at the time, the Asian view. But I mean, I knew I was prepared, and then I knew I would get my visa. So when it got to the time that we were just about 5 people, 4 people left for it to get my turn to be interviewed, at that point you could actually see whatever decisions were being made with those in front of you, because you just had like 3 or 4 people in front of you. So at that point, if they were approved or denied, you would know. And another thing is, please don't make whatever decisions that they are being enacted on those ahead of you affect your delivery, because some people see people getting denied in front of them and get tense, that get scared, and it affects their speech or their delivery. They start, murmuring and forgetting their lines and stuff. Please do not be shaken. Be confident in whatever you want to say. It's very normal. Let me say this. It's very normal to see people or most people in front of you getting denied. It's something normal. Like you should expect to see that. But do not make that experience, make you scared or make you um lose the confidence or control you have over your delivery. Let me tell you guys something. I had 5 people in front of me. All of them were denied.
Mm.
All of them were denied in front of me, right in front of me. If I had made whatever happened in front of me affect me, trust me, I would have, made a mistake at some point when I was answering the visa officer. All 5 people in front of me were denied. So there are 2 things I can say. Do not let whichever visa officer you get, turns you up or determine how you deliver your material or how you deliver your answers. You hear that this officer is wicked, or this officer is nice, or this officer is one. Sometimes the washroom tactic may work for some, but it may not work for others. I realized that day that there were a couple of people who were trying the washroom tactic, and they ended up going to the same offices which they were trying to avoid. So please be prepared such that whichever visa officer you get, you'll be able to deliver and deliver well. So one, do not let whichever or the choice of visa officer affect your delivery. Do not, because once you put that, tension or fear in you, it's going to affect how well you're going to speak to the visa officer. And two, if you see people getting denied in front of you, do not let that affect your delivery either, because some people are very confident, they know what they want to say, but once they see people getting denied in front of them, they get shaken, they get scared, and then it affects their delivery. I'm telling you guys, all 5 people in front of me were denied. Yes, all 5 people in front of me were denied. And I want to emphasize something. I can't emphasize this enough. The visa mock sessions are very important, because the girl who was right in front of me wanted to come here on a visitor's visa. And it was very obvious that she had no experience or had no form of mock session interviews, because with the kind of answers that she was given, if she had joined mock session interviews, she would have been advised against answering in that manner. The girl could have avoided a visa denial if she had joined mock session interviews, because with the way she was answering the questions, it seemed to the visa officer like she was nonchalant about the whole thing, because the answers seemed kind of unserious. They seemed like they were not answers that were, well prepared prior to the interview. They seemed like just randomized answers, which I could say could contribute to some of the reasons why the lady was denied. So please don't underestimate the importance or helpfulness or usefulness of these mock sessions. Yeah. And so I went to the Asian lady. At that time, everyone was like, that is the lady that they were trying to avoid because she was tough. She did this smile, this and that and that and that. But she's the one I got. I had no power over it. So I got to her. She first asked for my documents, my I-20 and my passport. I handed them over to her, and then she started typing. And trust me, they type very fast. And you have to be attentive, be all ears, let your eyes be fixated on them because they ask you the questions very abruptly. And I'm not sure you'd want them repeating themselves. So she picked my documents up. Then she started asking me the questions. So she first asked what program I was coming to do, what why the reason for the program that was coming to do. Then she also confirmed some information which was on my DS-160, which is why I keep emphasizing that the DS-160 is also very important. She was trying to confirm some information that I had put on my DS-160, which were the year I graduated, my bachelor's, the program I did, what I was currently doing, in terms of work. She was trying to confirm such information with what was on my DS-160. And there was another thing which I would like to highlight. I took my uncle's bank statement along, right? And then she did not look at the bank statement, but she asked me questions in relation to that bank statement. She asked how much my uncle made annually. And then I mentioned,
did you have deficit?
so I had a deficit of $1,600, but it was just I realized it was just like a small fee. So when I got here, it was not even like paid for. I was fully funded. When I came here, I realized it was a fully funded thing. So I'm not even paying that deficit.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not paying that deficit. But on the I-20, that deficit of $1,600 was on it, which is why I had to take my uncle's bank statement along, because whatever deficits that is left on it, you have to like provide proof of why, or how you're going to cover it. And $1,600 is like quite a small amount, but they would still ask questions. I mean, once they see a little deficit, no matter how little it is, some may decide not to ask, but some would definitely ask. So one thing I can emphasize is she asked how much my uncle made annually, and I mentioned the amounts, and she said okay. And then I realized that she circled back to ask me, did you say he makes this monthly? It was a trick question, which is why I say you have to be very attentive. If I was not attentive to whatever she was asking me, she was just trying to see if I would contradict myself. So I mentioned the amounts that he made annually. And then she circled back to ask me at some points that, okay, so you said he makes this monthly, right? And I said, no, he makes this annually. And then she said, your visa is approved. And she took my passport and gave me the white sheets, which, highlighted the processes involved after getting your visa approved. So please be very attentive when the questions are being asked. The littlest mistake you make, sometimes people are carried away and they try to, trick you or, just test you in a little way. And you may say something contradictory to what you initially said or what is on your form, and that may go against you. That may lead to your denial. So please be very, very attentive. So basically, that's how the whole process went. My passport was taken. I was given the white sheet saying I had been approved, and I was really excited because, I mean, all 5 people in front of me getting denied and me being approved, I was really, really grateful to God, and I left the embassy. So that's what I can say about my experience.
As you were talking, I was picking a lot of nuggets. So I'm posting those nuggets on my social media platform because the things you are saying, they are very, very true. And for anyone who has been at the embassy before, they know what you are talking about. Sometimes a visa officer can ask you 2 different questions which demands the same answer. They can ask you 2 different questions, but they still want you to reiterate what you said. So sometimes they might ask you the question, you said the answer, they ask you in a different manner, you go and say a different thing. They will know that you are tensed. They will know that you are not paying attention to the environment. They will know that probably you didn't even do the application by yourself, because if you did, you should be able to know that, okay, this question, actually, I can use this same answer to answer this question. And sometimes they can ask you, why did you choose this school? That question, they can also come back and say why the program. But I don't expect you to ask me why I chose the school. It depends on how you're going to answer. Because sometimes they can even ask you why the program. Sometimes they can ask you, okay, I can see you did, like there's a way they ask certain questions that sometimes you can just see the overlap, but they just ask the question in two separate ways that demands the same answer from you. So you always have to pay attention. That is why we entreat people that even if an agent is the one applying for you, make one student went to South Africa to get their visa, and the visa officer said, you know what? I was just about to approve your visa, but I realized that your DS 160 confirmation page is fake, so I can't approve the visa. How can you travel from Ghana to South Africa to get your visa approved, and just for the fact that you didn't get the correct document, the visa officer says, I'm going to reject your offer? So please make sure you engross and be part of whatever thing that is happening. Because, like I said, you have to pay attention to details. You are not just going there for like any kind of interview. This is a non-immigrant visa that is going to get you or give you entry into the United States. You want to make sure you are getting everything right, because the funny thing is, if you don't get certain things right and you come here and one day you are applying for something and you change it, your DS 160 is in the ISS portal. They have your information, Homeland Security. So if you said your mother is a Champoma Mary and you come here, you are changing from Veronica Mary, they are two separate things. They will see, and US, they hate people that are not trustworthy, people that are not honest. Once they see that, it's hardly for you to get any opportunity. So please, let's pay attention to all these things that we are talking about, because your visa interview and whatever thing that is going to happen there can just collapse everything that you've been building for the past 6 months or for the past 1 year. Thank you very much for such
And
article.
I think it's very good you brought out the point that even if an agent fills your documents for you, please get involved.
Yeah.
There are also cases where agents fill documents for people, right? They do not even care to look at the details or the contents of their DS-160 forms. And so if any questions are asked at the interview that are in relation to what are on the forms, because they did not go through or take the time to go through the forms, they end up saying something different from what's on the forms. It could be that it's either your agent made a mistake when filling your forms. Maybe with you like speaking to the visa officer, you are being truthful, but it could be that your agent made a mistake on your forms, and to the visa officer you are lying because what is on your forms does not match with what you are saying. So please, even if you are telling an agent to handle stuff for you, please be involved every step of the way. It's very important.
Thank you. Take this white paper. Your visa has been approved. Share with us the experience.
Oh my god. It was a feeling I had never felt before. It was a feeling I can't describe. I mean, I felt extremely ecstatic, like so excited. I would say what people would describe as cloud nine. It was unbelievable. Like I just couldn't believe it. I was so happy and so grateful to God. I remember taking the white paper and having a very wide smile on my face and walking out of the room, and people were looking at me like, everybody is tense. So when they see people getting approved, it motivates them. It puts hope in them that, oh, at least they are approving some people. So I got out of the room. The security men were also like congratulating me and all that. And then I just like ran out of the embassy, called my mom, called a few close ones to tell them that, oh, I had been approved. And it was really exciting, and I was happy all the way home. I was just so excited.
I hope you didn't walk home.
No, I couldn't walk all the way to Tema. No, I did not walk home.
Someone walked from Cantonment to Kaneshi
Wow.
when they got the visa approved because they were shocked, they were like surprised, and they were working, they were calling friends. By the time they realized they were at
They
Kaneshi.
were at Kaneshi. I mean, I know someone who said he bought wache like for everybody at the embassy. I
That's
mean,
why I tell people don't go with money, because when you go with money and you get approved, you'll be sharing the money to the
yes, the
security.
security men will be like, oh, you know, grease their palms.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Oh my God!
Yes, but
So
it's a very wonderful feeling. Trust
yeah,
me. Yeah.
yeah. And from that, you came home, you prepared, you got your staff to travel abroad. Basically, you're going to go to Kotoka. And by the grace of God, you came. You've been here for,
About 6 months. Yes, I've been here for about 6 to 7 months. Yeah.
okay. How have you been adjusting to the weather?
Um,
I
I'm
know
managing.
Your school, everyone is in Alabama. I know Alabama can get really cold.
Well, I would say during the summer, Alabama is even hotter than Ghana.
Hmm.
So this part, with the climate here, it's kind of on the extreme. When it's hot, it's very hot, and when it's
Hmm.
cold, it's very
It's very
cold.
cold.
Yes. So I remember when I came during like the fall in August, and at that time, it was still very hot over here. So I remember one time, I went to campus to do my process my orientation stuff, documents, and I stood in the sun for some minutes and my heart was pounding because it was extremely hot that day and I didn't have water on me. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't know there was a place hotter than Africa or hotter than
Hmm. Hmm.
Ghana. This place can get really, really hot. And when it's cold too, it's extreme because I remember when it snowed here, I think somewhere January, and I went to take some pictures in the snow and walked inside. I realized my whole body was itchy. I didn't expect it. Like I did not know the snow could make your body itch, but it made my body itch. But I think as time goes on, I'll get used to the weather.
I see. Alabama, Auburn University, 6 months is enough for you to share a little bit of your experience. Someone is watching, say, how is the United States like? How is the education system like? How is the public administration like? How are the professors like? Anything that comes to mind, just share with us. Has there been any cultural shocks? What have you been through in terms of your studies abroad? What are the overlaps? Do you think there's anything you really want to share with people? Because sometimes if I get this question and I want to talk about it, I might use the whole day to talk about it because I
Yeah.
have a lot to share. So your
Yeah.
6 months, I had a friend, he came here just 3 days. I said, Bishop, can you share something with me? The guy started talking. I said, 3 days.
Three
You
days.
just came here 3 days, and the way the guy was saying things, I said, you just came 3 days and you have all this to share. So yeah, tell us something. What have you seen that you love, you enjoy, any experience, any exposure you want to talk to people about?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to emphasize, my experiences in terms of academics, right? Please, you remember at the beginning of this session, I emphasized the fact that you should not be passive in school when you're schooling in Ghana, whatever program you're doing, whether it's undergrad or whatever the case may be. Please do not be passive. Be very active. I realized that in Ghana, there are cases where some people would try to avoid presentations as much as possible. Please, over here in the United States, it's different. Over here in the United States, you are assigned readings, you are assigned material, you are assigned articles, you are assigned books to go and research on and come and present in front of the whole class. And over here, like as per the experiences I've had so far, the presentations are not in groups. The presentations are individual presentations. So if you are still schooling in Ghana, please use this opportunity or use this time to familiarize yourself with presentations before you get here. Because when you get here, you are going to be presenting solely, not in groups, solely in front of your whole class. You're going to speak on whatever material you were assigned to read. Another thing is that when it comes to the academic curriculum here in the United States, or at least in my school or in my program, discussions also contributes to your grades. Discussions also contribute to your grades. Sometimes there are courses where discussions and participation can take 20% of the 100%, 30% of the 100%. So it's very, very important that you are proactive and active in class. You contribute to whatever topics are being taught. If you have any questions or ideas, please speak up. Please don't just sit down and then keep quiet about it. Please speak up in whatever, be engaging. Like, all these things will end up helping you when it comes to your academic journey here in the United States, because over here they really like this kind of practical academic setting. You tend to find that the lecturers don't just like to stand in front of the class and speak for 2 hours or 3 hours without any engagement from the students. The students here tend to be quite engaging. So please be prepared to do that. Be prepared to speak up. Be prepared to have discussions. Be prepared to present in front of the class. Another thing that I would like to emphasize is time management. Please know how to efficiently use your time. So over here in my program, every single week we have assignments in each course. Every single week. And every single assignment you do is cumulative. It's all ends up contributing to your final grade at the end of the semester. So if you even miss one assignment, it can affect you. And you tend to find that the assignments come, continuously, because you'd have this set of assignments this week, the deadlines are due, and then the following week has already begun. You're having new batch or new sets of assignments. So you have to know how to manage your time effectively and efficiently when it comes to your assignments. I wouldn't advise you to procrastinate once you come and study here, because sometimes procrastinating your academic schedules or academic activities like your assignments can end up making you miss some deadlines which you wouldn't want to. So please take your time management very seriously. Be very active in class. Prepare to present in front of people, because you're going to be doing that a lot when you come here. So in terms of academics, those are the experiences I have.
In terms of academics, those are the experiences that I have. When I came here, I thought I'll just be sitting at the back so that if they are talking, I will avoid talking. You go to class. I've been to a class where we were like 5. How do you go to the back if you are 5 people in a class? So whether you like it or not, the US education system is not about, oh, I don't like talking, I'm an introvert. Hey, no, you talk, because like she said, 20% of your overall assessment is based on the fact that you're going to talk in class. Even in my school, sometimes it's 40%. If you don't talk, it can really affect you that much. And sometimes you have to even talk on the articles when it comes to like Canvas. You have to be reading and annotating it at the same time. It's very rigorous. At the same time, one thing I love about it, I know you are here. By the time you be done with 1 year, you know what I'm talking about. But by now, you actually, because you are almost done with one semester. The US education system, they can give you open book to do your assignment. But by the time you are done, you still feel you've really learned something. I don't remember the last time I tried memorizing in it. Sometimes you're going to write math exams those days and you are trying to know the formulas. Here, if you're in the maths department, you are going to write exams, they can give you the formulas in a book for you to refer from. You are referring to because the formula is just an aspect of the answer. The formula doesn't give you the answer. That
Yes.
is how it is like here. And I always tell people this, even if you don't take anything out of the US education system, it is not your ability to become a researcher. You really become a researcher. You understand what is going on in your environment. You know how to identify gaps. You know how to identify problems and how to suggest ways to mitigate some of these things, which I really love about how they go about their stuff. And that's not to
Yes.
say they don't have their disadvantages, but that is going to be a conversation
Yes.
for
Over
another time.
here, it's not a chew and pour attitude. No.
Mhm,
Yeah, it's
mhm.
not a chew and pour attitude. You really have to do a lot of research and all that. And another thing I'd like to emphasize is, if in Ghana, or if you're currently a student in Ghana and maybe you like to refer to your colleagues' assignments a lot, I mean, you wouldn't take the pain to research on your own, and you would always want to look at your colleagues' assignment to
More
paraphrase.
copy. Yeah. Mm.
Please put a stop to it, because over here you cannot do that. They take plagiarism policies very seriously here in the United States. Plagiarism is a very serious offense here in the United States. It can lead to your suspension or dismissal or even deportation, because
Please,
once you do,
repeat that again.
plagiarism is a very serious issue here in the United States. It can lead to suspension, dismissal, or even deportation. Because if you lose your spot in the program, which other reason are you being here in the United States? Because you're on a student visa, so you have to go back home, which you wouldn't want. So please be prepared to do a lot of research, do your assignments on your own. You know, one thing I've realized is that with the professors here, they want you to put in the efforts. They want you to put in the efforts, like make the efforts, at least let them see that you are serious about what you are doing. It's not like maybe in some cases back home where there's a right and wrong answer and you're, trying to memorize answers and stuff. Over here is different. You have to apply whatever you've learned to whatever assignments you are doing. So they want to see the efforts. Please just try and make the efforts, and you should be able to excel. So please, plagiarism is something that is taken like very, very seriously here. You cannot take someone's assignments and copy over here. It doesn't work that way.
Plagiarism and the use of AI. Oh, may the chat be. You use chat, well, and sometimes I use chat, at the end of the day, you have to be very smart about all these AI tools, and because it also enhances even the plagiarism that she's talking about. It because the algorithm picks from the internet someone's work, and sometimes it gives you those information without even citing. So that is how serious it is. Recently, I saw in the news a guy who is doing his second PhD, and he has been dismissed from the department because his work was flagged as plagiarized, and his work was flagged as being done with AI. And the guy sued the school and said, you know what, I didn't use any AI, I did the work on my own. And now you don't want to put yourself in that kind of precarious situation. So make sure 100% of the work is coming from your creative and analytical ideas. Make sure if you are going to use someone's work, according to Evans 2025, he posited that please cite scholars, because that's the only way you can, not incriminate yourself when it comes to like this whole plagiarism stuff. But if you write something as your own, as the original author, and you are not the original author, you are stealing. And like she said, it's funny how that alone, and there's been an incident like that. I don't want to mention the name of the school, but I know of an incident that happened, that the work was plagiarized and had some AI stuff going on there. The students were deported. Some of these things are things that you don't hear people come here to say, but it's going on. And we are not saying this to put fear in you, but to let you know how, they embrace creativity, your own thoughts, your own ideas. And even if you use someone's work, make sure you are referencing and you are citing it. Thank you very, 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 very much, Aku. Yeah, it's we've spent 1 hour 22 minutes. I decided to end this in 1 hour 30 minutes, so we have like 7 minutes more. Aku, someone is watching this, and they want to apply to school, study abroad, and all of that. What is that advice that you give to um, someone that is applying? And you can even advise yourself, if you're to be in that position again, what are some of the things you'd have done right? And also, if someone is looking forward to study abroad, should they, your case, I realize you focus on the United States, can someone focus on Canada, Australia, UK? Because I heard they also have some good funding opportunities. Just advise the youth, advise young ladies who are in school, who one, you said something very profound. You said, it got to a point you didn't know what to do, but when you did your national service, you had people mentor you in a way that got you back on track. Is there anything you can tell, the younger you who is in Ghana, who is contemplating on their next step and all of that? The floor is yours.
Okay. So hi everyone. There are some things I would like to point out, right? Sometimes the journey may seem indecisive. Sometimes you may feel lost. You may feel like you don't know what you're doing. You may feel like you're not finding your head out, or you're not finding your way around whatever program or course you are doing. It's absolutely normal. But just try to, find that strength, put yourself together. If you need help, please ask for help. If it's possible, you can meet some of your teachers or your lecturers, to help you explain things. Please ask for that. If there are more intelligent or more brilliant people in your class who are more conversant with the material, you can go to them for help. Another thing that I would like to say is that group discussions are also very helpful. At least group discussions really helped me, back in diploma and undergrad and bachelor's, because sometimes when people come together to brainstorm and share ideas, they end up, you end up learning some things that you never thought of, or someone has some ideas in their mind that you never thought of, or if you were sitting on your own, you would have never figured out. So if you are finding any difficulty with your course, with your program, whatever the case may be, please seek help and do not worry. God has got you. You are going to excel. Just take your time and then seek the necessary help, study hard, be serious. If you have any worries or difficulty, feel free to approach your lecturers. I realize that a lot of some people are like quite scared to approach their lecturers. I tend to see that a lot, but please don't be scared to approach your lecturers. Be very confident in approaching your lecturers if you need any help or you have any difficulty with anything, because when you come here, you tend to find that the lectures are very interactive in nature. The lectures are very interactive in nature. Like, you tend to find them asking you a lot of questions, engaging in a lot of conversations and stuff. And then with the application of schools, if you have in mind that you want to study abroad someday, please start early. Please start early. I think some people wait few months to they wanting to apply before they start doing their research and all that. Please start early. Please start early. Whatever program you want to do, whatever field you want to go to. If you have a couple of schools you are interested in, please do research. Look for whatever criteria they have on their websites and web pages. Try to do intensive research, because it's very important in this study abroad journey or process. Another thing I can say is that take advantage of LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a lot of professors, faculty and stuff in these various universities here abroad, where you can send them a connection request and send them messages to make personal inquiries. Even if you do not use LinkedIn, you can send them emails. There are times where these lecturers have their emails available on the school's websites, right? You can contact your graduate program officer or your graduate program director to ask about the school, make some inquiries and all that. These are the emails that you term as cold emails. Yeah, cold emails. Cold emails are very important in this study abroad journey or process, especially if you do not know, or you don't have a list, or you are not decisive about whatever schools you'd want to come and apply to or school in. Because there are instances where you may not have that mentorship back home. You may not have someone to suggest a school to you. And so please make the initiative, please take the effort, do your research, ask questions, email professors, email faculty, ask them questions. Oh, please, I'm interested in applying to social program. I have a background in this and that and that. What would I need? Like me, ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions, and they are really helpful. And I would say one thing I would have done if I were to go through this process again would, I mean, I think I would have basically done the same thing. Um, because I did my research and everything, and I came out with the list of 3 schools I wanted to apply to. So yeah, please do research and all that, because let me tell you guys something. I think a year or so prior to me graduating from my bachelor's, I was checking out Harvard Kennedy School, like in terms of their Master of Public Administration program and all that. Like, I actually started joining their webinars a year prior to me wanting to apply. And then through the webinars and all that, I got to find out that, oh, they would require GRE, they would require this and that. And then I realized that, okay, maybe some of the requirements, as at that time frame, I wouldn't be able to like now sit down and achieve those requirements. I was like, okay, let me save that for a better time. If I had not done that research and I had just gone to apply to the school, I may probably, have not gotten full funding or not gotten admission. So like doing research is very, very important. Sometimes you tend to find that the schools you're interested in are organizing webinars and all that. Sometimes when you express interest in a school, they start to send you emails. And in some of these emails, they talk about orientation, webinars, and stuff. Try and join some of these things. Ask questions. When you join some of these things, you even have the opportunities to speak with some of the admissions officers in some of these webinars. Some of like the important faculty when it comes to admissions process. And sometimes you even get the chance to speak with your graduate program officer or your graduate program director or a few faculty or lecturers who teach in the program or course you want to do. So research is very important. Research is very, very important. And yeah, I think basically that's all I have to say.
Thank you. It seems you've said a lot of things that, were bothering the minds of people. I have one or two questions people have asked. So someone, Ibrahim Mo, is asking, is it okay for you to inform your DSO? DSO means designated school official. Is it okay to inform your DSO you have your visa? Do you have anything to say about that?
Yes, I mean, I think it's very okay to inform your DSO that you have the visa, because prior to coming to the United States, one of the primary people you are going to be in communication with is your DSO, especially with relation to these travel related issues. So once you have the visa, it's okay to inform him or her so that he or she would know that, oh yeah, you're gonna come to the States, or you're preparing to come to the States.
Yeah. Did Whitney know anyone in Alabama, and how was her point of entry wahala?
Okay, so I did not know anyone here. I did not know anyone here.
How is the African community there?
Okay, so when I came, I've met a couple of Ghanaians, Nigerians, most especially Ghanaians and Nigerians, and then other few Africans here and there. They are really welcoming. They are really nice people. Yeah, they are
I
very
see.
nice.
And with your point of entry, when you took the flight from Ghana, did you do a layover somewhere, or it was a straight flight from Ghana, Kotoka International Airport to Alabama?
So I did the layover at Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Yes, my layover time was an hour and 15 minutes or so. So once I got to Amsterdam, I had to hop into the next plane. I had no time to waste or anything. Yeah, so I had like, it was sort of there was a layover, but it felt continuous because I had to hop into the next flight the moment I got there. So when I got to Amsterdam, they checked my stuff and everything. And then I hopped into my Delta flight. And then the Delta flight brought me to.
You came with Delta. And
So
then you
I
had
took.
money. Oh.
No, it was KLM from Accra to Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam to Atlanta was Delta.
Then from Atlanta to, they said they don't say Atlanta, it's Atlanta. Atlanta, yeah, Atlanta. So from
Yes.
Atlanta to Alabama.
So I am with Atlanta to Alabama. Like quite fortunately, my supervisor informed me later on that like there was one of our former teaching assistants from University of Ghana Business School who was doing his PhD here. And so getting closer to, I think after I had gotten my I-20, we started communicating often and all that. Yeah. So he picked me up from Atlanta here to Alabama.
By
But prior to
by road.
yes, by road, because it's not that far. It's about a 2-hour drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But prior to that, I didn't know like anybody. I just, did the application and everything on my. But after I got my I-20, that we started, being in communication and all that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Aku. You said something I just want to emphasize, then we are done for today. Utilize LinkedIn. You are here, you are watching, you don't have LinkedIn account. Hey, so what account again do you have? If you come to the state, you want to work, you get most job offers from there. Recruiters getting into your DMs to give you job opportunities and all of that. You've gotten a school, you don't know how to connect with the international students there. Go to LinkedIn, search for international students or Ghanaian students at Alabama, Ghanaian students at CU Boulder, Ghanaian students at Colorado Springs University. Do that. Utilize LinkedIn, utilize Facebook. Wherever you find yourself on social media, let it help you in championing your study abroad course. Okay, so please take advantage of it, because what are you doing there? If you are not using it for some of these things, you are not building connections, you are not building links, what are you doing there? So please, let's take note of that, and I am really glad you brought that up. Thank you very much, Aku, for sharing these insightful tips with me. As time goes on, and we get to certain levels and all of that, we still come here. I always tell people this, that there can be a time I can bring you and I'll be like, Aku, let's talk about how to strategically write a statement of purpose and academic CV. That alone is a topic. So today was just to let us know how you went through the process and how your journey has been like. But I'm going to arrange another time in future for us to come here and talk about certain specific areas or specialties, which I believe is going to be good. Sometimes you are here, you know how America is like, hey, well, we are in rental, you'll be there alone. So you need to be doing some of the. That's why I created this platform. That's one of the reasons. But sometimes I'm here alone. I don't get anybody to talk to. It's not like Ghana. When you're out of salt, you can go to the next neighbor and be like, Charlie, mention us some. You can't do that here. You get a point. You are just there alone. So sometimes you create this platform and these opportunities to be able to bring like-minded people together, so that you also it boosts your confidence as well. Some of us, we saw the first video we did, and we've seen how far we've come, and it's been very, 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 very massive. So thank you very much for staying in touch, and guys, thank you very much, and bye bye.
And I think before we end it, I can say, like, with the networking is very, very important, because with Ibrahim's points of transitioning here and all that, I can say that my TA friend that I met, like, also helped the transitioning process become smooth and everything. Like, he introduced me to most of the Ghanaian community here and all that, and it also helped smoothen up the process. Yeah. So networking is also very important. Yeah.
Network.
Networking is very, very important. I mean, after I got to start communicating with him, he was also very, very helpful. So
Ibrahim, it seems you are asking too many questions. Why?
Ibrahim.
He said, how did she book her flight? Straight or transit?
It was transit. I transited at Amsterdam. So I actually booked my flight on Expedia. That was how come I was able to get two separate airlines, like, coming, towards my destination. Yeah.
Yeah, I still use Expedia, but sometimes people be like, no, go straight to the airline's website. Be very careful. You can go there and it will not be the actual website. Some you pay money to scammers. So I'm not saying that people do that, and sometimes you can even do it on a flight website, and it's going to come out like you're going to get like discounted prices and all of that. But when you have Expedia brings all the airlines together, like in compartments or like together for you to be able to see the prices as per every airline, for you to choose the one that you want to choose. Okay. So yeah, Ibrahim says I'm on my way. So we are waiting for you.
Yes,
We are
please.
waiting for you.
Yeah. And Expedia also, like, it's, I realized that with some of the airlines that Expedia brings together, yes, that's Expedia. With some of the airlines Expedia brings together, I realized that joint price that Expedia gives is quite cheaper as compared to you going to the official website and booking those two flights separately. Yeah, so I also chose Expedia because their prices were quite, okay for me. So
yeah. When you come to the States, sometimes based on a particular airline, you can even get a credit card. Let's say United Airlines. So you can get a credit card from United Airlines. And the more you spend money from that credit card and the more you keep on paying, the more they keep on giving you miles. So it will get to a point when you are traveling, you don't pay. Like
Don't pay
you use the
anything. Yeah.
mouse to.
The
So
mouse.
that's also another way where people. But you are in Ghana. I'm not sure you get United Airlines credit card for now. Please, I beg
Oh
you.
no.
When you come here, then you do that. That was just by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone is asking down. So McDuffie is saying, please, which flight is cheaper when going to the States? Answer that question.
Well, with the flights, I don't think
Depends. It
it
depends.
depends. It actually depends because with the flight prices, one major thing that influences the prices is the time or the season of the year that you are booking. Because there are certain seasons like maybe December when everyone is going home, for return, and there are certain points in times where the flight prices are much higher than others. So it depends. It depends. Yeah.
Full scholarship with assistantship. What does that mean?
Okay. So, Richard, right? So,
Yeah.
a full scholarship means that my tuition is fully paid for. I am not paying any fees myself from my pockets. The school or the department is covering every single expense. With assistantship means that I am a graduate assistant in my department. So what we call in Ghana TAs, teaching
Mhm, mhm,
assistants, right?
mhm.
Over here in the States, we have graduate assistants, and undergraduate assistants, we have graduate research assistants and graduate teaching assistants. So what you do is you assist the lecturers in the department with their teaching, grading, marking, or research needs. And for me, I am a graduate research assistant in the department. So I don't deal with the teaching aspects. I deal with the research aspects for my supervisor. So it's more like you being on that assistantship is kind of your work for they giving you that full tuition. Let me put it that way. Like they giving you that full tuition is equivalent to you working for them. So your assistantship is you working for the department. Yeah, simple and short. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. And I think the same person asked the last. I'm taking last two questions. Last two
Okay.
questions. Last two questions. Last two questions. Please, I'm about being interviewed for assistantship position. Please, can you help with sample questions or mock interviews when I contact you personally, madam? How may I contact you? Are you okay to share your email?
Um, okay, so for me personally, right, I was not interviewed for my assistantship position. My assistantship application was embedded in my school application. So there was a point in my application where we asked if you are interested in an assistantship, then we had to submit additional documents or answer additional questions. And if you were selected, you would be informed. So for me personally, I did not have an interview for my assistantship. I applied for it and then I was selected.
So
Yeah.
if someone is coming to your school, they want to link up, how can they reach you? Are you on LinkedIn or you have
Yes, I
any
am.
email
Yes, I
to
am on
what's your
LinkedIn.
what's your name on LinkedIn?
My LinkedIn is like the same, spelling and order as my name being displayed on the screen right now.
Okay.
Sarah Whitney Akusika Lagle, like the same order, same spelling. Yeah, on LinkedIn.
So please go and check her up on LinkedIn. Check her name. Go and check her up on LinkedIn. Send her a connection. If you go say, "Hello, Aku, this is you mention your name. Say I got connected with you on Ivagas." Once you say that, she'll respond to you because automatically now she's part of the team. So if I'm driving people to her for them to get their clarifications and things sorted out, she'll be, if you don't add Ivagas online, she might not mind it. So add that so that she'll be able to assist you. But please don't go and be saying my application fees. Hey, you are connecting with someone on LinkedIn. You are asking for application fees and service fees. That's you are blocking your chances. You are blocking your chances. So go there and be asking for
You say
application fees.
application fees and service fees.
Please, can you let Agushika address my second question? I've asked on YouTube, been trying to get your attention. What's your second question? Your second question, I don't. Where is it? Please let me know before we go. Let me know your second question. Yeah, please. It's time. I have to leave Aku so that she will go and do other stuff. You and US time is going, so we'll get time. We'll bring her back on board for her to come and talk more. So thank you guys very much and have a nice evening.
Oh, Evans, can
Yeah.
we kindly address Kweku's second question? I don't know if
Oh,
it's
you want
urgent.
to address Kwaku? Kwaku, she says she wants to address your question. So please, put it in the comment section on Facebook, okay? On Facebook, or let me try and see if I can get it on YouTube. YouTube. Um, let's see. I think I saw some question here. Um, okay, so answer this before I get Kwaku's question so that I don't keep you waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, it says, good evening. Please, could you share any advice or resources on how prospective students can navigate studying in the US while understanding current political structure and impact? This is a very deep question.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very deep question. You want to say something to it, then maybe I'll come and add something to it
Add
as well.
something. Okay. So, with the current political structure and impact, are you referring to the political structure and impact in the United States or in Ghana? I would need clarification on
Clarification on
that.
that. Yeah.
Yes. And with advice or resources on how prospective students can navigate studying in the US, I think I mentioned a couple of them earlier in the conversation about the nature of or the academic nature of schooling here in the United States, and what efforts you can put in back in Ghana prior to coming here in order to easing up the process for you. And you also have to prepare, like your mindset, prepare in advance. Know that when you come here, it's all seriousness. You have to be very, very serious. So please start preparing now. Start asking for advice. And I think another thing I can say is that you tend to find that sometimes some of the lecturers in your departments have ever schooled abroad. I mean, some of them have. And one thing, please, with whatever advice we are sharing, it does not only relate to the United States. It looks like we are speaking or emphasizing on the United States. There are equally good schools or even better schools in other countries as well. Canada has very good schools as well. Australia, Germany, Russia, and I mean, there are a lot of good schools all over. So you can spread out your options. You don't necessarily have to focus on only United States schools, right? So you can um speak to some of these lecturers of yours. Some may have schooled abroad, at one point or the other. They are also like very resourceful people that you, as a prospective student, you could speak to for some personal advice and all that. Yeah, it would really help you.
Thank you very much for that. You have this one too.
Average of how much?
Yeah, should you have who's coming to, like, what if you are coming to the state? How much should you have on you?
With that, it would depend. It would depend because some have funding which covers their living expenses, right? Some people get that sort of funding, but some have funding that covers, just tuition, right? So what I can say is that do your research before coming. Find out the standard of living or cost of living in whichever state that you are coming to school in as well, so that you can prepare an equivalent amount when you are coming. You need to have some dollars on you, need to have some cash on you prior to you coming here. So it would all depend, yeah, on whether your school covers those living expenses. Yeah.
Okay, good. This is the last question. We have Aku's
Okay.
question. I
All
have
right.
an undergraduate degree in population and health, and I'm considering to divert to public administration. Any advice for me on my SOP, school strategies, or anything?
Okay. So first of all, Richard, with you diverting from population and health to public administration, right? I would say your reason for diverting to public administration is personal to you. Because one thing I can say about the SOPs or personal statements is that one thing that puts you above others, one thing that makes your SOP or personal statements unique or distinct is when those personal experiences written are unique to you. You don't just go and write a general SOP or a general personal statement. The motivation. So they tend to ask a lot, what is your motivation behind coming to study this program? Why do you want to study this program? What are your personal and professional motivations? Like, so your drive towards diverting from population and health to public administration is personal to you. So once you know and believe in that motivation or drive, you channel that motivation into writing your SOP, and it would be of massive help to you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Aku, I hope your question has been answered. Yeah, so please, you can divert. You can divert. I've not shared this anywhere, but maybe today I'll share. I'm doing organizational communication, but my department even reached out to me. If you want to do PhD, you should apply separately, because you are in the school. So based on how you perform and everything, if they want to maintain you for their PhD program, you don't go through the same process as others are going to go through. The requirements are kind of a bit different for you. I didn't apply to any organizational communication program. I did my application into higher education, and I got into two of them recently. So sometimes you ask yourself, but my background in bachelor's and master's does not overlap with the PhD program, but I still got into it. It all boils down or comes back to how you write the SOP. Because in the SOP, you have to let them know how you are doing the transition. And in my case, it was quite straightforward. Oh, I've done this work in the nonprofit sector. I do collaborative stuff. I do this. I think that is needed in higher education. So you bridge the gap. You let them know how the switching is going to benefit you and how your background overlaps with what you are coming to do. It's as simple as that. So please, there's always the opportunity for you to divert. I have someone that I interviewed here, communications background from Ghana. She's doing MS cybersecurity here in the United States. And it all goes back to the fact that she told them why she was doing the transition and how the bachelor's that she did has some overlaps with cyber security. On that note, Aku, anything to say? Oh, that is it. Do you have
Well,
anything to say? Oh,
I mean, we've literally said it all. So, yeah.
So
Yeah.
guys, we are leaving you. Thank you very much for this
Thank you so
opportunity.
much for your
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
thank you. Bye.